that's 9, 10, and then 3, 10, 10, 5, 10, 6. Yep.
Okay, it's working now.
Okay.
Well, I still don't. There it is. Yep. All right. I'll talk to you later. Okay, you ready?
Go.
I can't hear us though.
Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun. It's the weekend, baby.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Sober Talk with Brothers Brandon, the Raging Cajun. It's the weekend, baby. Man, I hope everybody is having a beautiful day. It's a great day to be alive, sober, and free. Free from the jail cell, free from the trap trailers, free from that emptiness and that pain and the angry birds in the morning when the sun coming up and you're dope sick and you didn't spend all your money, you know what I mean? And you're looking like a dummy and you like, damn, I didn't did it again. Well, there is a way to change that. And if anybody is wanting to have that information, feel free to reach out to me. But today's show is being sponsored by Tied for Second Sober Living and New Freedom Family Center. It's a new facility here in Bismarck, North Dakota, and it will accept women with kids. So you can bring your kids to treatment. It's a great thing that's happening. So take advantage of it. But I got a special guest in the house tonight. I mean, I feel like this dude is my brother from my last life. You know what I mean? Don't he look like a conquistador or something? You can tell that boy got some French in him. He got that little pose, you know. But I got my man Brandon M in the house. What's up, brother?
What's up, my bro? How you doing?
Damn, he's strong. You know what I mean? But how you pronounce your last name?
Marcellet.
I always want to say Marsalis. You know what I mean? Marcellet.
I don't get tricked into that.
Yeah. Put 2 M's on that. You got to roll your tongue too. Marcellet.
Marcellet.
Yeah. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man.
You look
I'm doing
good.
good. Thank you, bro.
For real.
Likewise.
Man, every time I see you, I just picture you like in old time France. You know what I mean? And you just walking around like courting people and stuff.
In the vineyard.
Yeah,
Stay away from that place.
hey, yeah. He's feeding them grapes. You know what I mean?
Hey.
What? Great kid. But so how long have you been sober and clean there, young squire?
Man, my sobriety date is November 12th, 2024.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Longest stint of sobriety?
You know, it's definitely my longest stint of recovery.
Yeah.
You know, actually feeling good, getting restored to health.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's been great. It's been a journey.
Okay. Um, did you ever think that you would be sober?
Oh man. That the thought was looking grim for a while there, man. It was looking a little what I like to call hopeless in a defeated position. You know, but it was always in my desire.
Yeah. To stop
Yeah.
smoking?
Stop smoking, stop doping,
Yeah.
ripping and running, all that.
I can see you out there stealing hubcaps and stuff.
I don't know about that, man. I was turning brand new rims out the box, man. Getting merch.
Right. Chains and stuff.
Yeah.
So, where are you originally from, brother? Where you grew up at? Or where you was born, the whole shebang. Tell us your backstory.
Well, I was born right here in Bismarck.
Whoop whoop. Yeah.
St. Alexis, shout out to them.
Mm-hmm.
My mother, she raised me, a little bit in Bismarck, Newtown, and then California mostly.
Okay. Um, so how old were you here? How old were you when you were in California or wherever you was at?
Oh, that was young. That must have been around 8, 9, 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Moved around a little bit outside of California too for a little bit. Mother was providing, single mother, and she had different jobs, throughout the states. But California kind of came into play like around 10, 11 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
What part of California?
And Sacramento Bay Area, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You was ghost riding the whip?
Yeah. Later on in life.
So and how long did you live there?
You know, I lived there. I would come back during the summers, visit my grandparents in Newtown, and but I resided in California all the way up till 2014,
Okay.
and then I decided to skip state and move back, man.
Right. How old were you when you recall first trying drugs or alcohol?
Ah, yeah, about that. Uh, Before all that, man, I definitely had a relationship with fear and anxiety, worry, loneliness, feeling out of place.
Mm-hmm.
My first love was actually fitness.
Mm-hmm.
My mom
I
bought
mean,
a.
you know, you look pretty fit.
Hey, you too, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, my mom bought an ab roller and with good intentions,
Yeah.
but she never used it.
And a
And
thigh master.
man, I don't know about the time now.
What about that thigh master, boy?
We had ab roller. I would come home and use that after school and stuff, and that was really my first love, my first outlet. But it wasn't long after that that I got introduced to actually weed.
Yeah.
It freaked me out, man.
How old were you?
I had to been 12,
Okay.
12, probably 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was,
Smoking that grass, huh?
yeah, I was probably Bammer.
So that was your second love, huh?
No, didn't like it. Freaked out, went home, told mom. Yeah, like then I had a deathly fear to try alcohol,
Right.
because all the kids are drinking and stuff.
Right.
But when I skipped that fear and tried it, oh man, that was a trick right there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
That eased all those anxieties and worries, and quickly became my solution,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to my relationship with self and the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Um, any role models growing up? I mean,
uh,
who was your role model when you started working out?
you know, uh, at the age of 14, 13, 14, I was really always into kung fu movies, and uh, man, I went down to the nearest dojo and started taking classes, and I got really into that,
Yeah.
and that carried me through for about most of my life, till 25, 26. I trained actively off and on,
Right.
somehow balancing my
Yeah.
issues with alcohol and drugs. But
Right.
my coach, Mike Marinoble, shout out to him, man. He's always like a father figure, mentor, coach,
Right.
because he came from the streets of San Jose.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got some skills.
Wow, man, I don't know about that, man.
Yeah.
Those skills turned into breakdancing.
Right.
I breakdance now.
Yeah, you was out there like Bruce Leroy
Yeah, yeah.
with the glow.
Anybody remember that? Buddha Master.
Yeah,
Show no.
I mean that's a classic,
That is a
man. What are you
classic.
talking
That's a classic.
about?
That's a classic. I
Remember
love that.
The Chinese dudes outside the fortune cookie place? Itsy axaxu. You sock it to me, I sock it to you. Yeah,
I loved all those movies, man.
yeah. You got to flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you know about big?
Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, that one too.
That one too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a class. That's when that boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
It's all in the reflexes.
so did you play any sports or anything? I played hooky.
Nah, like my sport was martial arts and kickboxing. That was really my sport throughout school and grade school, and then you know, I got into bodybuilding at the age of 17, 18.
How'd you get into that?
Man, watching Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, how did everybody else get into
Yeah.
it?
Right.
Yeah. Pumping iron. That became a great passion of mine,
Right.
to this day too. Yeah.
Yeah. I happen to know where he works out at. You know what I mean? Conquer and destroy. So, did you have any big like dreams in life?
You know, um, I was in the military. When I was in the military, I really did well because I was
Okay.
17, dropped out of high school.
So you joined the military.
I did at 17. Yeah, I was in the Army Reserves, and I couldn't go any more further
Where'd
than
you go to
that.
boot camp at?
Fort Leonard Wood,
Okay.
Missouri.
Yeah.
Thrived in it, loved it. Full of piss and vinegar. Dropped out of high school. I really had nothing waiting for me back home,
Okay.
other than mom. Mom
How,
loved me and missed me, but
how long were you in for?
I did 6 years reserves. My initial training, I kept getting in trouble while I was in training, so my stay stayed longer. They
Right.
kept
What you was getting in trouble for?
just dumb stuff, man. Like I get in Article 15s for not polishing my boots, but then when I was in down in Texas and Wichita Falls for AIT school learning plumbing,
Yeah.
it
So
was
I went to my school there too, at Shepherd Air Force
yeah,
Base.
Shepherd Air Force Base. You remember
What
it?
was that?
That was in '01. That was in '01.
I was there.
Pre 9/11. That was like
Yeah.
summertime of
So
'01.
I was there in 2000.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Cool.
Aerospace ground equipment.
Yep. And we do the marches every Friday, the
Yep.
march off.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do PT and all that.
Yeah. Well, early too.
Yeah.
We had to beat the sun, in summertime.
And but
Worst tap water in the world.
I don't even remember.
I never burned your throat. Yeah.
But after that, I went to England.
Did you?
So from 2000 to 2003, I was in England. That's crazy. You was right after me.
Yeah.
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 I knew we had something in common.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I even through all the little
That's when my drinking career really started.
yeah. See, I ended up getting squad leader,
Mhm.
and I asked one of the guys in my squad who was older than me because I was 17, mind you. Then we went to the bar, the non-commissioned bar, and
Yeah.
bought me a few drinks, and they started checking IDs, and I was like, oh, tried to bail it over to the bathroom, tried to skip that guy that was checking out IDs. Oh,
Yeah.
he seen me, cornered me, seen my ID. I was underage. Called our drill sergeant. Oh, that was tough.
Right.
All buzzed up in a leaning rest, and so that was one of my like first drinking like mishaps in the military. Anyways,
Right.
just got a squad leader. Took a lot of work,
Yeah.
and I pissed it all away. Just
Yeah.
one decision to drink.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't get in trouble and I actually graduated, distinguished graduate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't my story.
But my story is later. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah, yep. So what kind of discharge did you get?
honorable discharge.
Well shit, your story is great.
Oh yeah, it was great. I honestly, I really don't know how I got the honorable discharge
Right.
because towards the end of my service commitment, I was missing drills. I
Yeah.
was partying hard.
Yeah.
I don't know if they just wanted to push me through
Yep.
or what it was, but yeah, and when I came back, I had ambitions to go active duty.
Hmm.
Uh, then I fell off on the dope,
So
and then
when did you start the dope?
I, honestly, ecstasy back then was like probably my first,
We
you
got a
know,
lot in common,
because
brother.
that was during the rave scene, bro, in the
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah. That's when the good X was happening.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Stack Mitsubishi, all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I was really into that scene. We'd hit the raves, and then that was
I didn't do ecstasy till later on in the military.
okay.
Yeah, at the beginning, I mean, I gave it up. You know what I mean? Like, but I was drinking. Like when I got in England, like you could drink at 18.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
So it was all good.
Yeah,
Till it wasn't.
yeah, yeah. But so you started doing ecstasy.
Started doing ecstasy. That was started off with just a weekend thing,
Yep,
and
same
mind
here.
you, at the same time, I'm balancing like my martial arts training and all that stuff.
And
Somehow then I was able to balance those kind of things,
yeah, what you did last night? Oh, nothing. You was in there with your shirt off with glow stick. You know what I mean?
and then I'd go show up for training the next day.
Right.
So it was one of those situations, and that was kind of like my story for a while. It was just party hard on the weekends, train during the week, you
Right.
know. And then at the age of like 18, when I really started getting into like bodybuilding stuff, I started getting into steroids,
Oh,
because then there was no consequence in my mind. There was no consequence to partying. I'm still gonna get the gain,
yeah.
and that journey, that steroid journey was about an 8-year long stretch. Um, would be the major contributor why I don't have kids to this day.
Right.
You know, uh,
You did a lot of steroids? Because when I really got to be around people that took steroids on a regular is when I started working offshore in the Gulf of Mexico in the oil field after the
okay,
military.
yeah,
And and then like you can tell when they on this they on it
right,
because they're all like you know what I mean? Like
right,
but then when they on off cycle or whatever, they be all like with their legs crossed and stuff. It's life is all about emotions and I'm like, this shit is nuts. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But
My problem is I didn't want to cycle off.
yeah.
I would go 6 month stretches, and
Does that from when you did that earlier in your life, did it affect you now? Or like
yeah, I get good gains naturally now.
yeah. No, I'm saying like does your testosterone get low?
Like when I checked my
Did your
testosterone last
testicles
time,
shrivel up?
yeah, they shrink and come back a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't do steroids.
Yeah. When I did that at the beginning, a long time ago, it was
You
like
know,
it's like, yeah, it makes you shrivel shrink, it makes you shrink. I'm like, I'm not messing with that at all.
well, it makes your nuts shrink.
Yeah.
If those are important to you, don't do them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mind you, at the same time, I'm partying. Like my party started taking more
Right.
working in nightclubs, drinking, doing meth to sober up because I'm drinking, like gotta sober up. And so, that's all having a lot that was having a large effect on my heart.
Right.
I was getting hypertension.
Right.
There's all kinds of side effects of steroids, man.
Right.
And,
Of
and uh,
ecstasy too. But it
yeah,
was I mean, that was my first love. You know what I mean?
nah.
I took ecstasy. I was like the dude off of Limitless, the movie.
Okay, okay.
You know,
Everything came into focus.
yeah, I take a pill and I just go on a rampage and like all this stuff and like have a superpower and then I wake up like
What
on the
happened?
ground somewhere a couple days later, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what
With just a mean story behind you.
like what happened? You know what I mean? But so you got out the military
Yep.
and then what?
I started working in the fitness industry
In California?
in California, man. Uh,
You got any old pictures of it? Were you wearing spandex and stuff?
no, but starting working in the gym and stuff, I got hooked up with this group and I became a male stripper
You
for,
did?
for 8 years. Yeah,
I was gonna mention
well,
that
that was kind of a
in California.
yeah.
Yeah. We got a male stripper in the house. Yeah.
Retired.
Say steroids and ecstasy, that kind of the equation equals
Yeah,
male stripper.
that was,
Baby oil and stuff like that.
that was probably the longest job I ever had, man. It's
Did you make a lot of money?
perfect job for a sick man. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't manage it well.
Right. Right.
I probably made like 4 or 5 grand cash a month, and
Right.
I just was very,
Right. Well, did you feel like soggy and used up after?
no, no, I just went for
Or, or
no, I felt classy, man.
you ever feel like coming out of retirement?
I don't know. My buddy called me. He's trying to start an entertainment company down in Texas, and he
Yeah.
wanted me to fly out yesterday. We talked about it months ago, but I don't think that's where I'm at in life right now.
Mhm.
You know, yeah, I don't know.
So you got some moves, huh?
Well, for me, no.
Yeah.
Everybody got a move or two.
You
Yeah.
ain't lying. To the Tootsie Roll.
Hey, I mean, that was another passion of mine too, was hip hop dancing. I got
Yeah.
into hip hop and break dancing.
I used to break dance too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's,
It's crazy that me and you got a lot in common.
yeah, it's a lost art, man. You don't
Yeah, I
see
had you. sliding across the dance floor on your forehead.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. You
Yeah,
know, and I still love hip hop, and I still catch up on YouTube on you know,
yeah,
yeah, the like Ayo and Teo and all them guys, man,
yeah.
sliding in reverse. Hey.
Um, so at what point did you realize that I need help? He said,
Probably,
"Do you like me? I had a
well,
lot of rascal in me. Took me a long time."
I definitely knew I needed help at like 21, 22. But you know, I was so in the midst of self and ego and you know, stripping, and that was important, you know, using steroids, partying, that I didn't want to give any of that up to get the help. But it came to a point where I did end up going into treatment, and
When was that?
that had to been about 22, age of
In
22
Cali?
in Cali. Yeah,
And so you went to treatment, and how was it?
you know, and when I went to treatment one time when I was just my, you know, using meth got out of control and stuff. I was doing all the time, smoking,
Hmm.
you know, uh, just being reckless, you
Hmm.
know. Was a male stripper, but I was banging hookers and running out on them.
Me and you
No,
got
not
so
really running out on them, but
me and you got a lot in common.
I definitely persuaded them that I didn't have to pay, like it's mutual. But
Why you? I used to wait till they fell asleep and then I robbed them.
eh,
It happened every time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I leave like
it might be
50.
worse.
I leave like 50 cent with a little note that said "Get your life together."
Yeah, man. And then I ended up getting introduced to like Oxycontin,
Yeah.
you know, and that was a whole nother beast that I wasn't even ready for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I convinced myself in my mind like that's perfect, you know, joints hurt from lifting heavy,
Yeah,
doing
doing
steroids,
the worm in the mirror.
hey, you know, and I did a full year on Oxycontin before I really tried to pump the brakes, and I couldn't do it on my own, and obviously
Was you taking it or you was shooting it?
I was snorting them, man,
Yeah.
and
What
that
you
was
was
a $200 a day habit.
Yeah, what you was licking the time release off of it?
Yeah, yeah, all that, all that, you know, and I knew it was time to go into treatment. And that's why I really identify with like the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, Bill's story, how they talk about like a big event coming up. And but I was supposed to go to Canada, had this great, yeah, I was in the lineup to go to Italy, all these cool places, you know, to go straight, you know.
Oh, so you was an international.
I was about to be,
Yeah.
and then I went to rehab,
Yeah.
you know, because I had to clean up, man.
Right.
And I went in and out of rehab for a whole year, you know. They had the American Indian Recovery Program, sent me $30,000 rehab,
Yeah.
tripped it off, you know.
So so you could pass for not Native American. I mean,
Yeah,
you could
my
pass,
mom's Norwegian,
right? No, but you could pass for like a lot of different things.
French, I don't know.
Um, so what is your bloodline?
So my mom, she's Native American and German, and then my dad, French and Chippewa,
Yep.
and Cree, Belcourt's Cree, Chippewa,
Yep.
French, yeah.
So you got a nice mixture.
You know, it's the one that Creator gave me,
Yeah.
you know. Rolled member up there, Turtle Mountains. Never grew up there. Didn't even step on the soil till I moved back home in 2014.
Mhm. Got a little
Uh,
turtle in you.
yeah. But I ain't scared to stretch my neck and come out my shell, dog.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. You ever seen a turtle that strips? The boy can spit on his shell and
You gotta pay to get this shell off.
you gotta throw some green leaves. Um,
Talk to me.
so how many treatments have you been to? I know you know the
Yeah,
number. You know it.
I don't even know the number, but
If you had to guess, if you had to guess the number, like give me like a
I've
guesstimation.
probably been through 8 or 9, including prison treatments, you know.
Right. How many times have you been to prison?
I've been through 5 or 6 detox. I've been to prison 5 times.
In,
Frequent flyer. I was a
you've been to
frequent
prison
flyer.
in California?
I did time in California. Did a prison term. It was nonviolent. All my stuff was nonviolent. So I did that prison term in county, which kind of sucked even worse, I'm sure.
Right.
Um, you know, that's where my extensive incarceration started,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Thinking that maybe the problem was geographical, I moved back home in 2014. Well, I brought the storm with me right here.
Okay.
You
Where'd you
know,
move to?
when I came back, uh, I kind of touched my feet down in Bismarck and got a place in Minnesota, Fern, Minnesota, and
Mm-hmm.
started tearing up that state with my hustling and credit cards and
Oh, so you was
super
a fraud stripper.
man. It was like entertaining all over again,
Yeah.
you know. Um, and the thing is I would justify the things I was doing because I would get back, some places, where I needed to, and
Yeah.
sometimes I even went back and paid the people that I knew I robbed in a nonchalant way, and so that made me feel like I was like Robin Hood or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Thanks for the people.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm just taking these small towns and gifting back to the res, like
Right.
I would tell myself this story, but at the end of the day, it was the fuel. It was really the fuel of my drug addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it was. So I created all kinds of trouble for myself in Minnesota, North Dakota,
Mm-hmm.
been incarcerated down in South Dakota, Wisconsin. I was ripping around all over the place,
Yeah.
you know,
And
and they always landed me in the same places,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's the truth. All our stories kind of start off different. I mean, me and your story is I mean, I never was the stripper. I was just the man getting the money from the strippers. You know what I mean? For real. I'm being
Yeah,
honest. But hey, I knew a dude that he was in movies and he did steroids and he did pain pills
yeah.
and he was actually like in some movies. I could tell you and show you the movies that he's in, and he came down to New Orleans, and I used to serve him. You know, I used to sell him drugs,
Yeah.
and he lived in like this big mansion and everything. And then I had seen him for a while, but
Yeah.
I had been working. I think I went and worked in Africa or something, and I got back and I went holler at him. He was like, "I don't want you to tell nobody, bro, but I'm stripping on Bourbon Street." I was like,
Is that bad?
I'm like, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, brother.
So he didn't level up, he leveled down.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, hey, you gotta do what you gotta,
Yeah.
stunt man slows down sometimes.
I wasn't trying to stay in the industry that bad.
I mean, that's how it sucks you in, though. I've watched it so many
Yeah.
times. It will suck you in. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And then you become a vampire. Yep. But in any time that you was in prison, did anything pop in your head like I should change?
Oh, definitely. You know,
What's the
that's
worst
who,
prison
that's
you've
who.
been in, or the worst facility?
I don't know if I've been in a worse one. I mean, probably the hardest time is probably California.
Yeah.
It is and it isn't because there's a lot of rules and a lot of politics that go with it, but it does eliminate a lot of unnecessary BS.
Right.
But at the same time, it's powered by a lot of stuff that's out of your control.
Right.
You know, uh, I don't know. Probably res jail sucks.
Yeah. You in there.
Yeah,
You in there. You start singing a
yeah,
native language, Chippewa, and you ain't even
yeah.
been there.
I ask you more food.
You
Starving.
gotta feed this turtle. You know what I mean? You gotta.
They don't have commissary in res jail, bro. Tribal
Right.
jail, yeah, it's a little
Right.
hungry times. And
So, um, at what point did you try like getting a sponsor, a mentor?
you know, the first time I got introduced to the program and reached out for a sponsor when I was going through that opiate stuff and getting rolling in and out of treatments and detoxes and I went to NA and got hooked up with a sponsor, but like I really
Where at?
wasn't. This was in California, in Sacramento.
Okay.
I wasn't really focused or taking it seriously. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, I was going through the motions and stuff, but like I wasn't fully defeated feeling. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that was where my first introduction to the program was out there.
Yeah.
And then not really until like coming out here and coming out of prison a couple times, I started going to meetings, but it wasn't until this time where I was like, meetings ain't gonna cut it.
Right.
I'm not. I'm gonna have to link up and do some work, you know.
Right, because the
And
first time I met you was at United Tribes College
right, you remember that?
at a sweat lodge.
Right. Yeah, a few years ago.
Yep. And
Yep.
and then I would see you here and there. Then I seen you a couple times when I went inside the prison and did
Right.
some events.
Right.
And so what happened this time?
Dude, honestly, like this time when I went in prison, man, uh, you know, not only did they were they tired of my shenanigans and hit me with a habitual offender charge,
How
you know,
many felonies do you have in your whole life?
like 14.
14 felonies?
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't that bad. I know people that got like 40,
Eh,
56. You know what I mean?
you know, yeah, they were definitely and in my mind, I was keeping everything under a certain amount. I'm like, it'd just be a misdemeanor. Heck no. They saw right past that BS and just went over that and hit me with habitual. So I knew that I was like, man, they really got got me this time. I really messed up and uh, you know, two two prison terms. My mom cut me off, wouldn't talk to me for a whole year, both times.
Hmm.
You know, so this time I knew she was gonna feel the same way. Luckily, I had an auntie, my mom's sister, that really stepped in and helped me. You
Hmm.
know, helped carry me through those first few months. Got an attorney. Uh, then eventually my mom jumped on board, man. They were really riding for me. I'm like, wow, they're really putting a lot of love and hope. And they said this is the last time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that kind of drove me to like really take a good focus and look. And plus I turned 40 in prison. So I'm like, you know, how do I want the rest of my life to look? You know,
Right.
literally, you know, because those prison jail, they don't care, man. They don't care if you're 90.
Hmm.
I've seen dudes in prison and fuckers.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't want to be that guy, though.
Right.
You know, and so you know, I had it a little bit more gusto. I was praying a lot about it. I started when I was housed in Watford City Jail. Um, I started going to Alcoholics Anonymous, you know, because I never really considered Alcoholics Anonymous. I was always thinking, you know, drugs are my problem. I need to go to
Hmm.
NA, you know. So I never really considered Alcoholics Anonymous.
Hmm.
And I started going to those meetings and there's a old timer, 37, 38 years sober now, Jack Ogalala Sioux from Pine Ridge.
Hmm.
And man, those meetings would carry me through those nights in commissary night would carry me through my week, you know.
Hmm.
And he started mentioning about a guy named Big Man,
Hmm.
you know, and I was like, okay,
Is
got
he
me
big?
in.
Is he
He
old?
does CrossFit now.
Is he big, old, and rocky?
Oh, he's like a mystical hero, actually.
Yeah, he is. He is.
You know, so Jack mentioned that guy, and then you know, fast forward, I get out, you know, I'm in DTC. Uh, I did end up having a relapse for one day. I think it's the only time in my life I ever used for one day, though.
Hmm.
Um,
DTC, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, man.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with halfway houses, but what I am saying is go to a sober living.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and man, luckily my PO gave me a shot. I was on parole. And that's when I thought my family was gonna beat me up, you know, like, yeah, you know, or do me away. But anyways, yeah, they all encouraged me. They're like, man, you need to do something. And so I did get into sober living, which I've been in sober livings before, but I thought sober living was gonna save me.
What sober
So
living did you get into?
I've been in previously. I've been into F5. I've been in the Blessed Builders. I've been in Tie for Seconds before when they first opened 5 years ago.
Oh.
And so, like, you know, and all those times I thought sober living is going to save me. But this time I knew I just needed to get to sober living just to get a leg up and kind of get myself in a safe place to be able to actually get into a program, you know, do
Right.
something.
Say that one more time.
I knew I needed to get into sober living to get a leg up to get me ready to actually get into a program and get working on myself, you know.
Okay.
Because I knew sober living wasn't going to save me, you know, never did in the past. My history of sober living showed me that.
Right.
And so I started going to meetings. I got hooked up with a sponsor right away in NA,
Hmm.
and bless that man's heart, he got me, you know, through the first little few weeks,
Uh-huh.
and then I was at the hub going to a meeting on I think it was Three Legacies on Thursday, and
Uh-huh.
lo and behold, uh, man
Did,
stops me,
yeah.
asks me if I'm
Well,
a sober or I'm gonna sponsor.
was the light reflecting off his face on one side? Did you
His hair is kind of combed back.
in his eyes? Did you see your ancestors?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I seen the glow, man. I heard the chanting and the Indian music, man.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and what did he say?
He said, he introduced himself. I introduced myself. He asked me if I had a sponsor, and I was like, wow, that's a sign. Even though I did have a sponsor, but I was kind of beating around the bush around that guy.
Yeah.
Bless his heart, you're cool.
And what was that man's name?
Big man.
Yeah.
Francis Big Man Old Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought I looked at it as like a sign. I told him I did have a sponsor, but I got his number. Um, did the right appropriate thing, called the sponsor I had, and asked him if he didn't mind. I would go with Big Man. And just everything that Jack said in Wofford City Jail at those AA meetings, like
Mhm.
a year ago, or a year previous, 8 months previous,
Mhm.
it might have been 5 months, but just made me think this is a sign. This is a sign from God, the Creator.
Mhm.
And that was, and I almost messed it up. Our first appointment, I almost played the same move I did with the other guy.
Break it down to me.
Man, I almost canceled on him. Why? Because I wanted to go to the gym.
Right.
And like, and then I paused. He said okay, even, and we hung up. And I paused. I was like, what am I doing?
Uh-huh.
You know, because the reason why I picked him, or why I wanted to go with him, not only that, with Jack mentioning him and all that stuff and seeing it as a sign, but I was like, man, I feel like I'll take this guy serious, like follow him, not want to let him down. He's an elder, older than me anyway.
Did he make you did he make you hold his pocket
No,
till
no,
till you
no,
got through the first two steps?
no. He gave me a beat up book that used to be his book, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I got in that first meeting with him, and he started getting me taking me through the book, and if it wasn't for that guy, man, really putting the throttle, keeping me accountable, throwing me into different, sending me an address, be here at this time.
Yeah.
Not telling me what it was.
Yeah.
I would show up. Next thing you know, like,
It's a stripper.
I got a home.
I'm joking.
Do I need to bring my suit?
I'm joking.
Hey,
So you show up and what?
man, I show up. All of a sudden, I got a home group, and then I got a service position, and then I'm going to nights meetings. Like
Right.
not knowing what I'm going to. I'm just going.
Right.
Following instruction and following suggestion, and you
Night with the
know,
round table.
sober nights.
Right.
Nah. And those things, things started happening, change started happening. Um, Next thing you know, I'm in the fellowship, getting acquainted with the community of AA,
Mhm.
getting familiar with the literature, and starting some practices that I never did. The meditation was slow.
Mhm.
Like he wanted me to do meditation every morning. Now I have my sponsees do meditation every morning.
Right.
So I was skipping a lot of those, and I'd call him with the stress calls, like going through it.
Yeah.
He's like, well, did you meditate today? And it wasn't until I started practicing that on a daily practice or anytime needed that started bringing a lot of different relief. And, like that worriness, obsession, and good things started happening, man,
Mhm.
just by following instructions and, you know, um, doing as that man said, you
Mhm.
know,
What step you on?
come through the steps.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
which one you working today?
Man, I work all of them really.
Right.
I'm a mess.
Yeah.
I'm a mess some days. So man, sometimes I gotta pause and you know, uh, do a step 11 of meditation, prayer. If I get a chance to make an amends, I do a step 9.
Mhm.
Many times throughout the day, I got to do a step 6 and 7 and ask Creator to remove my defects if I'm feeling fearful, if I'm worrisome, I'm feeling lonely,
Mhm.
angry.
Mhm.
So those are things, and then always remembering step 1 that keeps me sober. That admitting that I'm powerless over alcohol and drugs,
Mhm.
that I must rely on a power greater than myself.
Mhm.
Which which is a sensory power. It's not so much a concept; it's a feeling.
Mhm.
And then of course step three, that's a very important one too, man. That's just turning my will over to him.
Mhm.
I do the step three and seventh prayer every morning and throughout the day. And the psychic change as that has occurred. I didn't notice it at first till I looked back and I'm like, wow, well, this is how I used to think. My thought life has changed a little bit.
Right.
uh, the spiritual experiences that have occurred, not only when I was going through the steps, but now taking other men through the steps. And um, man, I can't deny it other than miraculous,
Mhm.
having the obsession lifted, and just feeling better than I have before with sobriety.
Right.
Because before, that's why I always like to say there's a big difference between sobriety and recovery. Recovery is restoration to health because I can be sober and clean and miserable.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, looking all ashy.
yeah. Looking fit but dying inside.
Right.
I've done, and that's how I felt before, previously, in other times in this journey. And I just wanted something different, man. The AA promises, the promises in the 12-step programs are real. It's just
Mhm.
like bodybuilding, man. It's if you follow simple instructions, and you follow and you adhere to them and you go to any length, you're gonna get results.
Mhm.
I'm a results guy, man.
Right.
I want the results.
Right.
Um, I'm forever grateful for AA, Big Man, and the fellowship and you too, bro.
Yeah,
You
I'm grateful for you too. You know what I mean?
You've always
Especially,
been there.
yeah, especially hearing some more of deeper of your story. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
man.
you got a hell of a. I mean, you got a story. I mean, I can relate with you. You know what I mean?
Write a book or what?
Yeah. No, no, I got some other ideas,
Uh,
but we'll talk. We'll talk later. You know what I mean? And it does involve glitter.
or glue.
Yeah, or glue. You know, he's used to smudging up mirrors. You know what I mean? But so I got a few questions that I would like to ask you.
Yeah,
Are you ready?
let's roll.
Okay. Um, who's your favorite person that you look up to?
Hmm. Spiritually,
Any
or
kind of
does
way.
any? Um, you know, I look up to a lot of as far as in recovery and stuff. I look up to my sponsor.
Right.
I look up to a lot of the guys in the fellowship that are really living and breathing this program and helping others. That you can see that power of God flowing through them.
Hmm.
Bodybuilding wise,
Yeah.
man, I've always liked Frank Zane. He's got a phenomenal physique. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
I got a few fitness heroes.
Right.
Spiritual leaders and stuff. You know, Ogallala Medicine Man Blackout. I I like reading his books.
Hmm.
Um, there's some Buddhism. I always like reading on Buddhism and
Hmm.
Sadhguru. He's a yogi from India. He's
Yeah.
got some powerful insight. Master Ching Heng Yi,
Yeah.
who's another powerful speaker.
Hmm.
Um, and then my mom.
Okay.
My mom's a good woman, man.
Yeah.
She's cool, and I got some good friends, man. I got some good friends that have recovered as well.
Hmm.
I got my friend Ronnie Ironshield. Shout out.
Hmm.
My friend Krista Asher. Shout out. Hey. And then my sister, man. My sister's a good woman.
Hmm.
She's brought herself out of the trenches, man. Raised my nephew and nieces. And she's a strong woman, man.
Hmm.
Um, and it seems like all the women on both sides of my family are strong women.
Hmm.
And I'm a mama's boy. So, I look up to women.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, that's what's up, brother. Um, have you ever left the country?
I went to Mexico once.
How was that?
It was Tijuana.
It didn't turn out good.
No, I was 16. I was with my mom. Yeah,
Oh,
it was a little day trip,
yeah.
Um, bless her heart, she let me have a Corona at the time, Probably asked for it, and she just
Yeah.
did it. But yeah, we just had lunch. That was the only time I've been out of the country.
Okay. Is there any place in the world that you would like to visit?
Yeah, Bali.
Okay.
I would love to go to Bali.
Okay. You just let it out to the universe.
Uh,
Why?
Bali would be cool. Because man, it just looks beautiful in paradise, man.
Yep.
Um, India would be cool. For spiritual pilgrim. What do you call it, pilgrimage?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a cool
You
journey
ever
to go
looked
to.
how big India is?
It's big, dude. Like there's the southern India, that's where like Sadhguru's from. Northern India is where Siddhartha Gautama,
Mhm.
The Buddha, that's where he
Right.
was from. So I feel like there's like a real lot of spiritual strength there. Not to say that there isn't anywhere else, but a
Right.
lot of that stuff interests me.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, have you ever like ran across somebody and it's in sobriety and it like made you see something different like in yourself, or did it make you like cringe up? Like how do you get through triggers?
I don't believe in triggers. I
Okay.
believe I was powerless either way.
Right. Right.
Oh, I never really had a choice, man.
Right.
Like I was, that was the how hopeless I was.
Right.
That there was never a real thought. But I've seen some people in sobriety and recovery. Not everybody's one of us at the hopeless variety.
Hmm.
And you see some people that are able to pull it together just off, maybe a fearful incident or
Hmm.
something like that. Or some people can just, um, go to treatment and sometimes they're okay. But that was never my story.
Yeah.
I needed a whole lot more than that. I
Right.
really needed to be connected to power,
Right.
and live a spiritual manner, and
Hmm.
and change my thought life by doing so. And and that's progressive in itself. It's progress, not perfection.
Hmm.
I'm still learning,
Me too.
still growing.
It's gonna
Um,
be like that for a long time.
that's one of the great promises of, and from pages 84 to 88, when fear, resentment, uh, dishonesty, all these different character defects crop up, we ask God at once to remove them. Then we ask Him to direct our thinking. Then we turn our thoughts towards helping another person, and that's man, there's some strength and truth in that, man. It does help, and I rely on that now, because I still have these character defects that I'm working on,
Hmm.
you know.
Um, if you was a cartoon character, who would,
Yeah.
who would you say your character would be? Of all, it could be any cartoon character of all time.
I don't know, a cartoon.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know. I look like Roger Rabbit.
Okay. I mean, that's
I like Roger Rabbit
yeah. Yeah.
because he busted those moves.
Yeah. Some days he's a
Got
rabbit.
Dexter Rabbit.
Yeah. Some days Brandon's a rabbit. Some days he's a turtle. And so, what led you to start using steroids in the first place?
Well, I wanted to be bigger.
Okay.
You know, I'm a skinny guy, bro.
Right.
And it takes a lot of work to put on those size.
What do you think
Um,
about steroids? Like,
I,
like, like if someone was coming to you and they say, "Hey, bro, I'm thinking about starting using steroids," um, and what would be and if they asked advice? I mean, and you're in the gym. I mean,
right,
you're in that mode. Everybody's pumped up. What would your advice be to them?
you know, I and I have had those situations. Especially with young guys. I've taught the young guys, and you know, Because they asked me if I take steroids, and I said, no, man, I just take creatine. They probably think I'm lying. I don't
I asked you the same thing.
know.
I did.
You know, but I give him my rap about it. You know, I give him my experience that I don't really condone it. You know, or I wouldn't advise it is what I should say. You know, or suggest it. I tell them the obviously everybody knows the pros. You know, you're gonna get jacked. You know, you're gonna get strong, but I remember a lot of the cons, all the negative sides. You know,
Like what?
roid rage. You know, especially when I was drinking and blackout. That's freaking. You know what I mean? I was a mess, man. You
Yeah.
know, getting in fights, and I've you know put hands on my girlfriend in the past when I was on steroids. You know,
Yeah.
just stuff that I wouldn't want to even deal with. You know, not to mention you're freaking horny all the time. You know,
Yeah.
times 10. You know, because your testosterone's jacked, and
Yeah.
you know, and then you got all the other health conditions. Those are just like the psychological stuff. Then you got all the other health conditions like you know, you got heart conditions, you could have stroke. And there was a few times where I felt like I was gonna have that, man. You
Mhm.
know, and and then obviously shrinks your nuts, you know,
Mhm.
and you might not be able to have kids.
Is
Um,
that just steroids like you hear about like you buy like in the black market or what are your
sure.
thoughts about like TRT or getting testosterone from a doctor?
You know, I feel like if you're it, it's like anything else, you know, if you use anything in a specific use for moderation, you know, you might be all right. TRT works great for guys who actually need it and are prescribed by a doctor, monitored by a doctor.
Mhm.
You know, that was never my story because I always wanted more.
Right.
You know, why run 250 milligrams when I can run 500 milligrams of testosterone, 600 milligrams of VQ, and be even more jacked?
What's EQ?
For
Mhm.
it's originally a horse steroid, but they make human grade.
Oh.
You know, and it's you know it's a different kind of addictive feeling. You feel great.
Mhm.
You go in one day and all of a sudden you're strong. Then all of a sudden you see the results. You know, so it's a different addiction in its own. You
Right.
know,
Do you think recovery is harder for people who use steroids compared to other substances? Why or why not?
I don't know if recovery's hard. Uh, you know, I think that steroids kind of gets no attention as an addictive substance. You know, because it's not it's not so much you see people kicking in doors and robbing people's stores.
Yeah.
Maybe they do. I don't know.
Juice.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but there is, a lot of like, what would you call that? Incidents that have been, you know, public information where like, maybe steroids involved, maybe it was a steroids,
Yeah.
and we see a lot of wrestlers, bodybuilders who have died, heart attacks,
Right.
or strokes, so it's definitely a dangerous thing if not properly monitored and used,
Right.
you know. Um, but yeah, definitely, it definitely didn't help. Like I was fueling my other addiction with party drugs
Mm.
because I felt like there was no loss in the gains. I'm like, man, I'm good.
Yeah.
Got this baby on cruise control, still catching gains.
Yeah.
I'm getting loaded,
Yeah.
You know, but really none of those were even the problem. The
Mhm.
problem was in my mind.
Mhm.
Those were just the symptoms. Those were just the solutions.
You needed to be brainwashed.
Adjusted.
Yeah.
Uh, you know,
It was leaning on one side.
and I'm not gonna say that I hadn't been tempted to do steroids in the past year. I'm getting older, dog. Trying to keep up with the young bucks.
Mm.
And I had to remind myself, you know, that look what it's done before.
Mhm.
Because I know the positive things. I'm like, yeah, easy gains, muscle,
Right.
you know, ass. But I got to look at the negative things like, wow, and that's really the insanity of alcoholism and drug addiction too. I
Yeah.
can retell my story so it looks real good and convince myself, but I got to remind myself of the horror and pray about it and ask God to direct my thinking,
Mhm.
because it's, you know, my own self will and thinking has got me into a lot of, you know,
Mhm.
rough situations, and it's all I gotta do, man, is hit that gym hard, diet strong, get a little cardio, and you'll get jacked anyways.
Hmm.
There's a natural way to do it. It just takes a little bit more precision,
Right.
you know. And I really do look at steroids kind of like the drugs and alcohol, in a sense that it creates an effect, but you can get that same effect through discipline, some daily actions,
Mm-hmm.
and just a good decision, and praying about, man. I pray before I do my workout, man.
Right.
I don't know how I get through them, and all I can do is thank the creator when I come out. I'm like, oh, I survived that,
Right.
you
So what's
know.
a typical routine for you from the moment you wake up to the time you go to sleep at night?
So I wake up, I open my blinds, see what the weather's looking like, pour some coffee. I fast for like an hour before I ever make breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of a slow starter, drinking coffee, and Um, usually I put on some YouTube, watch some Shi Hing Yi, some positive stuff. He always says if you win the morning, you win the day,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that. Then I'll usually eat some breakfast. Well, I always eat some breakfast. What am I talking about? Get my lunch ready, and then I do my meditation. I do a 10-minute meditation guided on YouTube, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter if I'm in a rush. And then I do my third and seventh step prayer,
Mm-hmm.
and I usually go meet a sponsee. I meet my sponsees in the morning.
Check that out.
Talk to me.
Third step prayer.
Oh,
Seventh step prayer.
oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Oh,
How many sponsees you got?
I got 5 in the book right now.
Okay.
Yeah, got 5 in the book. You know, I had a few sponsees. I got one guy through the book, and then him and a couple others. Um, Pretty sure they fell off. Um, haven't heard from them. And it made me kind of really think about what I could be doing to be more effective.
Mm-hmm.
Started getting on YouTube, really listened to a lot more AA big book studies, and other speakers on sponsorship and stuff. And so now, right from the gate, when I get a new guy, I get him right away on 10-minute guided meditation in the morning, third step prayer right away. That is, you don't have to call me every day, because more likely I'm gonna reach out to you. But those are my requirements right away. And then obviously our meeting time. And that's been, man, and I stayed on them almost. They're probably just sick of asking me if or sick of me asking them if they meditated. But it's been showing some good steady growth, because that was one of the things I kept lacking on with Big Man.
Mm-hmm.
And once I started doing it as he suggested every morning and as routine, I
Mm-hmm.
started feeling the benefits, feeling better, feeling more, and now I use it throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's an amazing thing. You can always restart your day.
you can always restart your day, but you can't restart it really by going faster. Sometimes you gotta slow down.
Right.
You know,
Okay, so you do that, then what?
um,
Do you have a certain
after
time that you work out every day?
usually after the noon meeting, hit that gym about 1 o'clock, do my little pre-workout meal.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, pray and get to work. You
Right.
know,
How long do you typically work out for? Do you have like a set, like
yeah.
you know what you're doing before you even go in there?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Good
Well,
answer.
I kind of do. I don't schedule my workouts or anything like that. I'm not that organized.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather be in tune with my body, and know what I'm lacking on, what should be worked, what feels recovered, what I could do.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives me a better relationship with, my body and my workouts, because that's what it is. It's relationship. Just like the program, 12-step recovery is, relationship with creator. If relationship with creator himself is good, my relationship with the world's going to be pretty good.
Right.
So same thing with working out. It's your relationship with your muscles. Not so much, the amount of weight and all that stuff. I want to have that relationship. Whether it be nice, slow, pause.
Mm-hmm.
My contractions and stuff. And um, you know, it's progressed a little bit. Uh, the beginning of the summer, I was just lifting and kind of eating recklessly, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel very good about myself.
Right.
I was 225 and I didn't feel very good.
Right.
I had the idea in my head, if I go up in weight, my lifting will go up. Well, it didn't go up. My lifting went down on the amount that I could lift, and so I made a decision, just like you do in step one. You make a decision, you know, and step two and three, you make a decision, and I made a decision. I'm like, man, I'm gonna get lean. You know, I'm gonna, you know, 41 years old, man. I wanna feel my best, you know.
Right.
And so I took my diet and my training a little bit more seriously, and that's been going well.
So what do you do after your workout?
Uh, After a workout, if I don't work, which I don't work right now,
Mhm.
um,
We
I
won't talk about that.
I got fired. Um, you know, if I don't, usually I would go to work, but you know, I usually go to a meeting, you know, call my sponsor. I'm not one to really sit at home, you
Right.
know. I like to be in motion. If it isn't the gym, it isn't work, then it's recovery, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so I'm always wheels on the ground, man.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, I can relate. Same thing with me.
I don't lay in bed or take naps, you know, when it's I lay in bed when it's bedtime,
Right.
you know.
So you don't
And
watch much TV?
I watch some YouTube. I like watching Astro Legends and the Y-Files.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly like when I chill out at night, man, for bed I'll read.
That's what's up.
Yeah. I got books that from prison and stuff that, you know, so I'm rereading through the Law of One. If you haven't read it, check it out. It's pretty cool.
Amen to that. So what sober house do you live at?
I live at Tight for Seconds.
And tell us about Tide for Second. Like what's it like? Like if you was describing Tide for Second to a blind person, what would you how would you describe it?
Oh, well, it's a decent little structure there. It it was perfect for what I needed, you know, because there's structure there. They're about recovery. They care about you. Um, you know, it's a little bit more laid back than some of the other sober livings. We don't do meeting cards. They do require that we go to 5 and 6 meetings, but it's on a trust basis. You know, you got to hit the
Right.
group chat. Um, and you know, they do different sober events, watching football games and stuff, and yeah, they're really involved. They're pretty cool, man. You know, and I feel like that's what I needed. Personally, you know, I got brothers and sisters that are in Hope Manor and stuff, and that's perfect for their needs. I think I've been in so many tight structured environments. I don't think I would have. I'd have been like, man, I've been through enough of this. You know,
Right.
I needed something on a little bit of medium ground. You know, that was a little bit more laid back, but still facilitated the sober environment. You know,
Right.
and that's good. I've been in there for 10 months now. It's the longest I've been in sober living. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Congratulations, brother.
Man, thank you.
The time is when the time is right.
Right. You know, and I owe it to the 12-step program, you know,
Yeah.
really. Working on my recovery, going on the inside, you know, because that was the last place I ever wanted to go was
Yeah.
inside, you know, because it's an inside job in recovery.
Yep.
And you know, I was always just focused on the externals, you know, so you know, there's it works.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yep. Well, I'm proud of you, brother.
Thank you.
How long are you sober now?
I just got 10 months on the 12th.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah,
I like this version of you.
man, I appreciate that, bro.
You know what I mean? And so if you had any last words of wisdom to say out there to the people, what would you say? So if you was talking to yourself 10 years ago,
Okay. Pray and take your vitamins. Don't do steroids. If you're battling any kind of addiction or alcoholism, uh, get a sponsor. Try the steps out, you know. What's the worst that's gonna happen? You know, you get better.
yeah.
You know, and just keep on, man. You know, pray. You know, creator's there, man.
Mhm.
Connect. Connect.
Well, thank you, brother. My man, Brandon. Yeah, and I'm Brandon. And and we like Long Lux brothers from the old French times. You know what I mean? We grew up in the orphanage together. We even had a little
Oh, yeah.
song at night when we slept on our cots. Brother, brother.
Bomb the weed.
Yeah. Well, thank you, brother. I am proud of you. You keep being a light in people's lives. And if you ever fall off again, I'm coming to find you.
Mm.
Yep. We're gonna take you for a ride.
I don't plan on that happening.
Right.
You know, I'm
Yep.
connected, man.
You are connected one day at a time, brother. One day at a time. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of Sober Talk with Brothers Brandon, the Raging Cajun, baby. I mean, it's so grateful to just be able to see another day and wake up another breath as a free man. You know what I mean? And when I say free, I don't mean just behind bars, bars or on house arrest and stuff like that. I'm talking about free on the inside. You know what I mean? And it's all about being intimate. What is the word? It's into me. And I never knew that because I always thought that intimate meant like being butt naked on a polar bear rug in front of a huge fireplace, drinking Merlot.
R. Kelly.
Yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. But you got to look inside. You know what I mean? Once you look inside and you clear all that up, and God, Creator, whatever you have, a higher power, something that's more than you, ain't no stopping.
Mm.
There's no stopping. It's you've been reborn. You know what I mean? And it's up to you to be grateful for it. So, uh, anybody looking for any resources, you can contact Brandon. Uh, he's also looking for a job right now. So if anybody's got a gig for him, hit him up. So if you need resources, hit the page up, hit me up. We got resources everywhere. And if I don't know the answer, I bet you I know somebody that does. And so it's all about progress, just like he said. You know what I mean? Um, no matter where you're at, where you're from, you think you might be special and different. This affects everybody. You know what I mean? So be the person that stops the generational stuff. You know what I mean? And it's great. I want to give a shout out to Dickinson State University that had Sober Talk there on Tuesday. That was a great experience. Got to speak to some college university kids, and it's a good time to be able to speak to them because man, you can have all the dreams and aspirations, and you can mess your whole life up in a half a second.
Mm.
You might never fix it. It might take you 15 years to fix it. But it's okay. We all mess up. You know what I mean? It's okay. And just remember that whatever you was doing when you felt your best in sobriety, go back to that. You know what I mean? Go back to that. You even got to go back to sober living or go back to treatment. Do it again. You know what I mean? Because if you dead, you ain't no good. You know what I mean? You ain't no good to nobody. But also I want to give a special shout out to Many Visions. Many Visions Apparel. Uh, they are supporting sobriety now. So shout out to them. You can check them out right here in downtown Bismarck, or you can go online, check out Many Visions Apparel, and check those uh those guys out. Some great guys. Also, I want to give a shout out to Preferred Heating and Air, your leading heating and air company in Bismarck, Mandan area. Also, I want to give a shout out to Resurrection Tattoo, where you can get hooked up and not effed up. I want to give a shout out to J Dobo, the leading spice in the land. You can catch J Dobo at the White Shield, North Dakota market this Sunday from 1 to 6 at the Ralph Wells Center. But J Dobo has the greatest spice in the land. He's a great guy, a brother of mine. He's a veteran. Check out his seasonings, his hot sauces. I mean, it's amazing. And you can also check out me or we. Uh, Sober Talk will
Speaking
be
French again.
yeah, we Sober Talk will be at the White Shield Market as well, set up. Such a blessing. And if anybody's looking for to do an event, I'll go wherever. I mean, you could be out of state, you could be in state. Uh, if they need, if you're looking for a speaker or you want to do an event or anything, please contact us. Um, we love doing events. If anybody needs help, contact us. Um, but just remember that I can't save nobody. It's not me.
Mm.
It's not him. It's God. You know what I mean? And since we have been blessed with this new life, a true person knows that we have to give it to others. You know what I mean? Because if you keep it just for yourself, you're gonna curse yourself. You know what I mean? So shout out to Perry Recovery Center. They have a next week. They're having some events for like Recovery Week. Shout out to them. That's a great organization. Shout out to Tide for Second and New Freedom Family Center. Shout out to the Ridge Clinic and Treatment Center uh, in Fargo, North Dakota. They're doing great things out there, man. Shout out to the Ridge. Shout out to my brother, Make It Extraordinary, Jacob Lawson. You can get his book on Amazon. You can hit him up, check him out online. That's my brother. And shout out to my daughter. You know what I mean? You got any more shout outs?
It's my turn now.
No. Shout out to my daughter in Old Dominion University. She's doing her thing. Shout out to Cutie Creations by Acosta. All the people that show love to Sober Talk. We really appreciate you. And if I forgot anybody, uh, forgive me. Just know that we love you too.
Shout out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to my sponsor, Big Man.
Yeah, yeah. You should get Big Man face tatted on you for real. Yeah, get it on one of
Um,
your abs.
and then shout out to my sister again and Krista and Ronnie. Thank you for supporting me. And shout out to my mother.
Yep,
Love you, Mom.
yep. Moms always got that love for their sons.
Yeah.
You know, love you too, mom. You know, my mom. You know, and and yeah, a lot of great things happening, man. Shout out to NDSP, all the whole DOCR in North Dakota. Uh, you know, it's great movement of change that's happening here and across. I mean, across the United States.
Mm.
Uh, and so, very thankful for the opportunities in the prison systems and the reentry that I'm able to participate in. But I hope everybody has a great night, a great weekend. Uh, just make sure that you enjoy the weather before the weather turns into the weather that we all know. Uh, and get out there and tell somebody you love them. Tomorrow, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, who am I helping? Am I just helping myself? Am I helping other people? What are you giving back to the universe? Um,
Right.
you know, that was one thing that I never realized. Like I was a taker, you know. I just took whatever you had, you know. I never gave, you know. Um, and I love giving back, and you can have everything, you know what I mean? Uh, when you come from not having nothing, when you burn your life down to the ground, can you relate?
Yeah.
And you start getting stuff, I mean, your life starts getting better. Man, it's an amazing feeling. But at the same time, I'm just happy to be alive. You know what I mean? And if you start every day like that, you're just happy to be alive. You know, it, I mean, who can tell you that life is not good? I was supposed to be dead a long time ago. You know, one time I thought I OD'd in my sleep, and this was the afterlife. Everything kept going wrong. I was like, I went to the devil, and I was like, "Here's my gift receipt. I want a refund." You know what I mean? But I want to thank all the people that love this guy, all the people that give us a chance to love us. And I hope everyone has another day of breath. So if you can't stay sober, catch an Uber. If you can stay sober,
Catch a meeting.
catch a meeting. There you go. I like that.
Catch
You
a
know,
meeting either way.
yeah, spit it out, brother. From tweaker to speaker, baby. From tweaker to speaker. But in the words of my great grand sponsor, Jack Hype, if nobody told you yet, we love you, baby. Peace and chicken grease.
Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun. It's the weekend, baby.
Yeah.